Chosen one, listen closely. There is a reason you've been feeling strange lately. A reason your spirit has been restless. A reason your mind keeps replaying the past, but your soul keeps whispering. Something happened to me, and the world didn't notice. Because it's true. What God released through you wasn't small. It wasn't ordinary. It wasn't something people could clap for on social media. No. This was the kind of power that doesn't get trending hashtags. It gets written into destiny. But here's the shocking part. History wasn't ready to write what happened through you. Not because it wasn't real, but because it was too prophetic, too disruptive, too divine. You weren't just surviving pain. You were breaking cycles that had been alive for generations. You weren't just crying in silence. You were moving spiritual laws in the invisible realm. You weren't just going through it. You were becoming the type of person heaven can trust with ancient power. And the reason it felt lonely is because you were doing something no one around you had the spiritual language to understand. So if you've been asking, why does my life feel so heavy, even when I'm trying to do right? Or, why do I keep losing people right when I'm about to rise? Or, why do I feel like something huge is happening but no one can see it? Chosen one, you're not imagining things. You're not being dramatic. You're not overthinking. You are experiencing the aftermath of a release. A power was released through you that history was not ready to write. And today, heaven sent me to explain it. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to reveal why your life couldn't stay normal. Why people suddenly misunderstood you. Why the enemy attacked you harder than ever. And what to do now so you don't sabotage the very miracle God activated inside you. Take a deep breath. Because this message is not random. It's confirmation. Chosen one. Let's start here. Some people heal, and it ends with them. But you healed, and it broke something that was attached to your bloodline. There are certain battles that don't begin with you, but they were waiting for you. The addiction patterns, the emotional dysfunction, the abandonment wounds, the cycles of poverty, the repeated betrayal, the same type of relationship pain running through family after family. That wasn't random. That was spiritual inheritance. And you were born with something different. A holy defiance in your spirit. Even when you didn't know why. Even when you didn't have support. Even when you didn't have a mentor. Something inside you refused to become the next victim in the family story. You said, "Not me." Not knowingly at first. But your soul kept saying it. And that's why your life got intense early. Because the moment you were born, heaven marked you as a cycle breaker. And cycle breakers don't live easy lives. Because the systems that benefited from your weakness don't want you to wake up. So they tried to sedate you with pain. They tried to confuse you with rejection. They tried to distract you with anxiety. But it didn't work. Because you weren't made to stay asleep. Chosen one, let me say it plainly. Your healing wasn't personal. It was prophetic. When you forgave what others couldn't forgive, you released power. When you walked away from what others stayed chained to, you released power. When you chose growth in a world addicted to dysfunction, you released power. And the reason nobody celebrated you is because people only celebrate miracles they can understand. But what God did through you, it was invisible. Until it wasn't. History wasn't ready to write it yet. But heaven recorded it the moment you chose obedience over emotion. Chosen one. Sometimes the biggest miracles don't happen in public. They happen in bedrooms, in parked cars, in bathrooms with silent tears, in sleepless nights when you're holding your chest saying, "God, please don't let me break." But you didn't break. You bent, but you didn't break. And that's why what was released through you was dangerous in the spiritual realm. Because the enemy understands something humans forget. A person who suffers and still keeps their heart clean is a weapon. A person who gets betrayed and still chooses righteousness is a weapon. A person who gets rejected and still refuses to become bitter is a weapon, because bitterness is how darkness reproduces. But you didn't let it reproduce through you. You refused to become a copy of your wound. That's why the enemy got nervous. Because you were becoming something rare. A person with pain, but no poison. A person with scars, but still pure. A person who got hit hard, but didn't turn evil. And chosen one. That is not normal. That is supernatural. And it released power. You were unknowingly rewriting spiritual history with your decisions. Each time you resisted revenge, power was released. Each time you didn't clap back, power was released. Each time you surrendered the outcome to God, power was released. This is why your life felt like spiritual warfare. Because you weren't fighting for a moment. You were fighting for a future. Now listen. One of the most painful things for a chosen one is living ahead of time. Because what you carry is not always appreciated in the season you're in. You're like a seed in winter. Still alive. Still chosen. Still powerful. But not visible yet. So people look at you and think you're ordinary. Because they can't see what God buried in you. They judge you by what they can measure. Money, status, followers, connections. But God was building something deeper. Authority. And authority is not given by applause. Authority is forged by pressure. Chosen one. Your calling is not trendy. Your assignment is not cute. You weren't made to just look spiritual. You were made to carry a power that transforms atmospheres. That's why you can't stay in low environments. That's why you feel sick in fake relationships. That's why you get drained around certain people. Because your spirit has a frequency. And everything not aligned feels like poison. So when you try to fit in, your soul revolts. And it hurts. But it hurts because it's holy. Your spirit is rejecting what your destiny outgrew. Chosen one. Let me say what most people won't. There are moments in your calling where it feels like you are dying. Your motivation disappears. Your old passions fade. You stop enjoying what used to excite you. You feel empty, detached, numb, and people will call it depression. But what if it wasn't depression? What if it was divine detachment? What if God was unplugging you from the old version of you? Because the new version was too powerful to carry old attachments. Because here's the truth. The old you couldn't survive the next level. The old you would have tolerated too much. The old you would have been easily manipulated. The old you would have kept letting people cross boundaries. So God allowed a death. Not a physical death. A spiritual one. A death to people-pleasing. A death to needing approval. A death to chasing validation. A death to begging people to stay. So you could be reborn as something dangerous. A chosen one who knows their worth. That's why you started moving different. You didn't become cold. You became clear. You didn't become arrogant. You became awake. You didn't become distant. You became protected. And that awakening released power. Chosen one. I need you to hear this. The enemy does not waste warfare on irrelevant people. So if your life has been full of strange battles, constant delays, unexplainable losses, betrayals that came out of nowhere, attacks that felt excessive, it's because you weren't being attacked for your past. You were being attacked for your future. Your destiny carries a ripple effect. When you rise, you don't rise alone. You shift. Family systems, communities, generational mindsets, spiritual climates, and the future of people connected to you. So darkness tried to block you early, but it failed. Because you're still here, still breathing, still standing, still believing, still trying, and that alone proves something in you is protected. You didn't survive because you were lucky. You survived because God placed an invisible seal on your life. And that seal is why history wasn't ready to write you yet. Because if it wrote you too early, The wrong people would try to steal what God put in you. So God hid you. Not to punish you, but to preserve you. Chosen one. Let's talk about the season nobody enjoys. The season of being unseen. You're doing the inner work. Praying, healing, changing, working. But nothing outside reflects it yet. No celebration. No public breakthrough. No big reward. Just silence. And it feels unfair. But divine silence is not divine absence. It is divine construction. Because God does not reveal unfinished work. He builds privately. So you can stand publicly. The same way a diamond is formed under pressure. Your power was formed in hidden places. That's why you had to lose people. Because if they stayed, you would have performed instead of transformed. You would have stayed familiar instead of becoming divine. So God separated you. Because separation is protection. And during that isolation, something powerful happened. You stopped hearing everyone else. And started hearing yourself. Then you started hearing God. And that's where the release happened. That's where the ancient power awakened. That's where heaven installed new spiritual software in your spirit. History wasn't ready to write it. Because it didn't happen in a stadium. It happened in your secret place. Now, chosen one. Let me give you the signs. If these signs are happening, it's proof you released something massive through your obedience. They loved you, then suddenly they didn't. They supported you, then they became cold. They praised you, then they acted threatened. That's because your light started exposing their shadows. Things you used to accept now make you sick. Your soul refuses certain rooms now. That's spiritual maturity. Because your spirit values peace over popularity. You don't beg people to stay anymore. You understand. If it's not aligned, it's not assigned. God began speaking louder. Even through signs. Even through feelings you can't explain. Discernment activated. You can feel motives. You can sense masks. Because you are. This isn't just about you. It's about what God will do through you. Chosen one. This is the most important part. Because many people survive the battle, but sabotage the blessing. So what do you do now? Your life is no longer a public debate. Because it is. Not everyone deserves access to you. God is building something precise. Move slow. Move wise. Because power isn't always a feeling. Sometimes it's a decision. Let God handle the consequences. Your job is to stay clean. Because the season is shifting. You won't stay hidden forever. Chosen one. Let me end it like this. History wasn't ready to write what happened through you. Because history writes what it understands. And the world doesn't understand spiritual authority. It doesn't understand quiet faith. It doesn't understand unseen obedience. But heaven does. And heaven has been watching you. Every tear you cried. Every time you almost gave up. Every time you stayed kind. Every time you chose God. It all mattered. And now, the release has happened. Something ancient woke up in you. Something powerful moved through you. Something irreversible activated. You are no longer who you used to be. And the people who knew the old version of you will not recognize the new version. Because this next you is upgraded. This next you is protected. This next you is cleared by heaven. So don't panic if life feels unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar because you're entering a new timeline. And chosen one. This is your moment. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not weak. You are not crazy. You are being rewritten by God. And history is about to catch up. Chosen one, if this message didn't just touch your mind, but hit your spirit, then this was not random. This was confirmation. So right now, I want you to claim it boldly in the comments. Type, "IT was released." If you know God unlocked something in you that people couldn't explain, and darkness couldn't stop. And if you've survived battles that should have destroyed you. If you're still standing, still breathing, still trying, still believing. Type, I am still here. Because your survival is proof you are protected. And chosen one, don't just watch this message in silence. Like this video so this word can reach the ones who feel alone in their process. Subscribe if you want more messages for the chosen ones, messages that strengthen you, sharpen you, and remind you who you are. And finally, share this with someone who's been hidden, tested, and misunderstood. Because the world may not be ready to write their story. But heaven is. Amen. Chosen one, before you go, I want to speak to the givers, the ones whose hearts feel called to pour back into the vessel that pours into them. If this message awakened you, if it strengthened you, if it spoke to your spirit in a way only heaven could orchestrate, then I invite you, only if your heart feels led, to sow a $1 seed into this channel. Not because God needs it, but because giving is a spiritual law. A small seed carries big obedience. And God multiplies what is given with pure intention. Your $1 keeps this ministry alive, keeps the messages flowing, and helps this word reach the next chosen one who needs it. If you feel that nudge in your spirit, if you feel that gentle pull, you can plant your $1 seed using the link in the description. And if you can't or don't feel led, you are still loved, still seen, and still covered. Blessings to every giver, and blessings to every listener. Your seed moves heaven in ways you may never see. But God sees it all.